Now, you guys, if you're interested in old cool cars, spending money, making bad financial decisions, this video is something that you need to check out. I'm Tommy Boshers, and I have a bunch of cars, and I have a problem. I need to get rid of a bunch of them. 50, 60, 70 of them or so. Let's let this journey begin. So without further ado, look at this thing. It is a Pontiac Fiero. You can tell that it is something. There's that silly cat. Okay, back to this little car. Like I said, these things, for those of you who don't know, they are rear engine. They have fancy seats and interior in it. I don't know if the motor hatch will lift up. No, it's locked. There may be a hatch release in there. I don't really remember. This one, I don't even remember if it's a 4-cylinder. I think it is 4-cylinder. And I think that's what these numbers right here mean. You guys can let me know. Apparently it's had a fender bender at some point because the back bumper's red and the rest of the thing is silver. But as we were saying earlier, guys, we were planning to put a supercharged V6 back here. There's some kind of Pontiac or Buick swap that you can do. I think it's the 3.8 motor, and it will make some pretty significant horsepower for one of these. Stung by a bunch of wasps. Looks like nothing's really jumping out at us. But yeah, you kind of look through this thing. The interior's not ripped up. Seats are in pretty good shape. There's a little wear right there. Yeah, it's not all busted up for one of these cars. You know, anything out of the 80s is normally just toast. One thing that I always thought was kind of interesting with these old cars, they have speakers in the headrest. I think. You can let me know if I'm wrong, and I'm sure a few of you will. Thanks for your support. It's got a cool steering wheel in it that is approximately of that era. You guys know what I'm talking about. Tack in it. Says it'll run 85 miles per hour. I mean, it will run at least 85, right? Yeah, which kind of sucks. Because we was actually thinking about even, Hammer had the idea of making a clone that runs 88. You know what I'm talking about? Sitting where you're at looking at this, did I screw up with the money that I spent on it? Or would you have dropped some coin on it too? That's a high performance cheese wedge. Just think of the aerodynamics that this thing's got. All it needs is some motivation and a new owner. And that could be you for not a lot of money. It's gonna take a lot of effort though. I don't wanna false represent this stuff by any means. Alrighty, I know a few of you guys are like, man, that dude was a guy that liked muscle cars and all that kind of stuff. And why in the world's he got that thing? Well, it's basically because I remember looking through Hot Rod as a kid, you know, like centerfold of that car. And their marketing was pretty cool. Now I know what them cars are. I don't have one, but it was just something to have a little fun with. Well, let's get back to something a little more traditional. Are you guys the same type of folks that I am? Meaning you're driving down the road and you see just the silhouette of something old and rusty and you're just like bird dogging? You kind of like run off a road for half a second or double pump the brake just to kind of see what that thing is? It's a condition. I know I can hear my mama as a kid, for me, going, I swear, it's like you can see behind barns and around trees and all that stuff. I don't know how you do it. Because I'll see it and I would punch it up to my old man and ask him what year it was, what make it was, and sometimes he'd see him, sometimes he wouldn't. That's a sign that you do have a problem. Now I know this thing don't look like much at all, and it's because it's really not much. But what it actually is, 53 Mercury. We got this car for a parts car. We had built a car that has a friend of mine bought. And it was a vehicle that's two-tone green, or was. It was pearl white on the top and kind of the seafoam green on the bottom. Somebody built it, and this thing went to SEMA. Then it went to one of the insurance auction sites, cause supposedly jumped out of gear, rolled down an embankment, hit a couple of trees, dented it up. They claimed insurance on it. When the car went to the insurance impound thing, a bunch of the stuff either got stolen or when it went, it never was in it. So we had to get a car to find a bunch of goodies to put her back together. And this old thing here is a rough old car. But we just couldn't squish it. We couldn't send it on to have it, you know, junked out. Because there's still a lot of parts on these old things to the guys who need this stuff. I mean, the back bumper off this old car could be used. It's not the most perfect, but to those guys who know what you're looking at, you guys know that sometimes just finding a good core is something. And one thing I really dig about this car is how it's embossed with Mercury on it. That's some of that styling stuff of the 50s that they knocked it out of the park. And this being the year make that it is, there's a lot of parts on this car that you can't even buy anymore. Like there's no reproductions for it. So you have to use an old car or an old part. And finding NOS stuff for one of these is dang near impossible. Now the front cap to it is sitting over here and I'm just kind of standing in the way. And yeah, it's all growed up. And a few of you guys said that, man, you should take and cut all them weeds out and weed eat around them and cut the trees down. And you were completely 100% right. You know, air up all the tires, put them up on gravel or a pavement spot. And then, you know, take 47 photos so everybody could see it. And I want to tell you something. If I did that for every car and every vehicle I've ever owned, I would have a tremendous amount of time spent on tire kickers that never, ever, ever even intended to buy anything in the first place. So what I've learned on that type of thing is quite simple. You got something you want to sell it, post that thing up, and then put it at the price that you want out of it. And if it don't sell, so be it. If it sells for more, so be it. If it don't sell, well, then you can go on and then work on your presentation. I'm as honest as the day is long. I won't misrepresent a car. And if there's something on it that when we find it, whenever we go to look at it, guess what? I didn't know it was there. So yeah, and if you play by this rule and you're selling cars, there's a pretty good chance that you'll be pretty successful at it. Because me, myself, I have bought and sold over probably 400 cars. I know when it comes to these 71 to 76 GMs, yeah, I've owned nearly 300 of them. Just some of that little tidbit for you guys, a little helpful information to any of you guys who are looking to buy, sell, and trade cars. Don't misrepresent anything, because your honesty will take you a lot further than making a couple extra bucks here, because as soon as somebody finds out, next thing you know, you just lit a wildfire. This is a 1963 Chevy Impala, two-door hardtop. It's got a hopped up small block Chevy in it. It's got a little bit of rust in the floor pans, a little rust here in the bottom of the fender, some back here at the bottom of the quarter, as every car always does. It's a burgundy, factory burgundy car, black interior. And you know, these old things are pretty sought after. When was the last time it was tagged? 2000. Holy cow. Whoever parked that car needs their butt kicked, because that is one cool old ride. It's got a set of them IROC wheels on it. Check out that cross flag. Ain't that cool? And we can open the door on this thing. Hopefully. Ooh, look at that. Look at all that grass, gnarliness. Car kind of don't stink too bad. Definitely needs some upholstery. Seats ain't all ripped up in it. It's got a tack in it. Headliner's starting to fall. It's got some extra center caps back there in it. Whew. Man, this is a cool ride. Look at the door. That thing ain't been parked, or has been parked that long and shuts that sweet. Oh yeah, probably ought to pop the hood and let you guys check that thing out. I know the sun this morning at the angle that it is kind of makes it hard to see your car. Yep. It's got some trees there. If a man was to try to move it or do something with it, he'd have to trim them things back. And them aren't big trees, but the size of them, that tells you it's been sitting in this spot for at least a couple of years. Don't want to make none of you mad, but this car here is not for sale. This is my first car. This is the one that me and my dad put together, and I think he bought it when I was 13 years old. And one of my goals of reasons why I'm selling all this stuff is to start on this thing, to actually get it out of here and go all the way through it. I haven't looked at this thing in quite a while, and the last time I did, I told myself that I ought to get off my butt and get started on it. And I guess it's kind of been on the back burner because I was afraid of what I'd see. It used to stand pretty tall. Right now, not so much. I've saved this car for many, many, many years. I've never really done anything with it because I told myself I don't want to take it apart. Now, because you guys know, if you've ever taken a car apart, that's the cheap part. But then this car takes up 3 times the amount of space, and then that's whenever components get lost. It used to be pretty nice, or so I thought. I mean, I was proud of what I had. I didn't owe anybody for it. It was pretty nice. A whole lot of memories happened holding this steering wheel. And I told myself I don't want to start on it until I was ready to go all the way to the finish line. And we're getting close to that point, but I'm trying to get rid of some of these distractions so that I can basically streamline my focus. And if you guys are curious about seeing more of this car, we've got a video that we've done that I've called an autobiography, and that is a little story piece of cars and how they affect you. Me and my old man redoing this car, he stitched by hand all this stuff up there. We didn't have any kind of machine to do it. There's a lot of life sitting in this old car. I mean, good times, bad times, things I made.
Man, that thing would shoot a flame out the back. Man, I tried to do it at work. I drove it to where I worked at one night. I worked at a factory, and well, I tried to get that thing to work, and I never could get that thing to do nothing. And then I come back, and the next day, then I see him, talk to him. He did it the next, he'd do it right like that. You know, and I never could figure that out, how to make it work.
You might want to check it out. So let's get to looking at one of these little cutie ones. It's not really my flavor though. So here it is. It's a little bitty BMW. I think these things are a 2002 model, not year, model. If you guys are familiar with what these things actually are, let me know in the comments. Basically, we got it for a project kind of like that Fiero way over there. We were going to do an engine swap because whenever I looked at it, I just said to myself, that thing ain't as big as a minute. And it's a 2-door. And it kind of has some cool lines to it for one of these cars. It's got I mean, you can see, it's kind of has some unique features to it. And it's got check out the styling right there on the front. I mean, could you get any more safe, than 2 turn signals on the front? And this thing is pretty low. It's light. That thing right now probably doesn't weigh 2,000 pounds. So if you were to take and drop, I don't know, about 500 horse up in here with one of them LS motors, I bet that little ride would absolutely motivate. This thing also screams aerodynamics. I mean, just look at the shape and the size of this mirror. That's almost the size of that vent window. And one thing that was also just kind of pulled me toward this car is the windows and the size versus the door. I mean, that thing is basically a reverse chop top. So how could you not buy one of these things? I mean, it just says, oh my goodness, that thing is sexy. Not really. And it has one high performance wheel, ultra lightweight. I mean, the deal just got sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And then the next thing you know, financial decisions were made. This thing was on a trailer and it was headed south to this place. And there again, that was a few years ago. So, yeah. And what's crazy about this thing too, is I've actually had several people stop by here. They're just driving by and see this thing, come in and go, hey man, I'd like to buy that BMW out there. And you're like, oh no, I can't sell that thing. Shoot, no, man, I got big plans for that thing. You know, I got this motor sitting right over there and we're gonna, you know, all we gotta do is, and I should have sold it. I should have sent her on her way. But sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees, or you gotta get worked up in that moment. And you get all excited about it. You know what I'm talking about? Have any of you guys ever went to go buy a car, and as you're there talking to the thing, or talking to the folks about that thing, they almost like, it's like you talked them out of selling it. And then they go, man, I don't know if I'm gonna sell it now. I've been there a few times. I learned from it. Sometimes you just walk in, walk around it, look at what you're buying, negotiate and go. Don't stay there all day. Can you just imagine what this thing would feel like with like 600 horsepower in it and a 5-speed or 6-speed manual in it, just ripping on the gears? I bet this dang thing would just about make the back bumper touch the ground. And that's if you could get some tires under it fat enough to make it bite. Whew. Man, you talking about a good time. And now you see why whenever I saw it, I was like, ooh, I got to have that thing. Now, is this car restorable? No, this car is not restorable by any means. But it is cool to look at. I'd open the door, but it's gnarly. I can lean in there and let you guys just kind of check it out. This is almost one of those cars that you could just cue the sad music and it would potentially cause you to start shedding a tear. Now, if you guys have been following along with me on my previous career, you know that we built a 71 Model 1 of these cars, and we put some crazy horsepower in it, and that car blew my mind of how many people actually connected with that ride, because this is of the era. A lot of times your grandma or your dad, or you went to college and you had a car like this. These old big cars, they were kind of a ride that everybody had, because they made cheap ones, they made expensive ones. That's what this stuff is. Sometimes it's just things that you relate to, things that bring you joy. Sometimes it brings you sorrow. If you guys have a car story, we've got this little thing that we're doing. It's where you would write us a letter, tell us a story, and send us some photos of a car you once had, a car you currently have. All you need to do is mail it to Tommy Bosher's P.O. Box 107, Pulaski, Tennessee. I can't wait to read this stuff, guys. So if you got a few minutes, and I know this is kind of like the old way of doing things, but it's nostalgic and it's kind of personal. You're gonna have to sit down, spend a few minutes of your time to tell us that story. Now, a few of you guys probably have noticed that I have a large collection of big bodies. Well, the reason for that is because back in the day, I used to do some demolition derby. And I've done it I had for probably somewhere around 20 years. I know a lot of dudes, I know a lot of guys that's done it. And one of the things that I'm blessed to know or have been able to be a part of is building that relationship and having guys that look for these old cars. And I randomly sometimes get phone calls all over Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and it's guys going, hey Tom, we got another one of these cars if you're interested in it. We'd go pick that thing up, and then I'd make a few phone calls, make a little money, and we'd send these things north. That's how I basically had bought and sold and traded that 300 of these cars in my time. And luckily for me, all this stuff is paid for. Every car I own is in the clear. Yeah, some of that is just the fun of finding them, you know, the hunt. Y'all probably run into that. Sometimes it's not the car itself that you bought, it's the journey of going to buy that thing. And so yeah, this next car ain't really got none of that. But it is a very, very solid 74 Caprice, 2-door post. Now in this era, this is the kind of car that folks call the glass house. And that refers to the roof on this car. So this will be a little, let's say, Impala Education 101. They make in 74 2 different type of roofs on a 2-door car. This is the glass house, and it's referred to because most of the roof is nothing but glass. It has this pillar back here and this pillar that's a little wider. They make a 2-door hardtop that's kind of got a C shaped here, and they call that, well, I'm wrong, actually. This is a 2-door, wait, I'm screwed up. This is a 2-door post. They make a 2-door hardtop, and I got one of them up there that's Pop's old car. And it has that C-shaped roof right here. This piece of the roof is real big. That is actually what that car is, what's left of it over there is. This car is, or was, a local car. It's kind of a low mileage thing, and some boys got the car and more or less screwed it up. This whole thing was pristine, as all of them are at one moment. They took the car, took it apart, spray painted a bunch of junk, and supposedly was going to make it like a radio car or something. They stripped out all the interior, except for the seats. But this thing is a very, very solid old car for one of these. It has a 400 small block up here, and we have had this thing running at one time. It was several years ago, and Pop wound up robbing like an alternator bracket or something off of it. He needed one for one of his projects, and I said, sure, come back there at the back and just grab one off one of the old clunkers. And this was the clunker he grabbed it off of. Now again, I'm not defending myself. I don't want it to sound like that. But guys, it's astonishing what some of these old big bodies are bringing, especially parted out. It's kind of like this grill in this car. This car, we could clean this thing up, and them things fetch somewhere around, I've sold them from $300 to $500 a piece, if the chrome is nice on it. Basically, it's because you can't buy this stuff. You can't. I mean, it's unattainable. It's kind of like a Mopar way back in the day, because there was no aftermarket support. So what happened is, if you wanted one of these cars and you wanted to fix one up, you either had to try to find one that was nice to begin with, or you bought a car body that was within your budget, and then you get to finance it over time as you're trying to piece it back together. What's also crazy, see this front bumper? To the derby dudes, you know what them things are worth? 500 bones. Just for the front bumper. Yep, just for the front bumper. And if you were fixing one of these things up, guys, y'all know this. You NOS guys will know what I'm talking about. You can buy aftermarket fenders for a Camaro, and you can put them on a Camaro, and then you can spend 30 hours or so each trying to make them things fit like they're supposed to. You don't believe me? Buy you a set. Try to make them things fit. Or if you can find a set of NOS fenders that are going to fit like they're supposed to, and they are $1,000 or $1,500 a piece. Yep, $1,500. Well, if you took an old crappy fender and it had rust in it, in the front, kind of where the battery is, or it's got rust in the bottom, like all of them do, that takes time, and it takes money, and it takes material. If you charge 50 bucks an hour, plus the fender, you do the math. You take it to a professional shop. They charge 50 to 150 an hour to make stuff fit, to make stuff work, to make it look like you want it to look. That NOS part, or a cherry good used part, dictates the price. Cherry used part don't sound too bad. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little tidbit. Right now, I've kind of run out of time for the day, and it's time for me to go get to work. We still got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. I've got the dirty half dozen, 1950. They were trying to sell it at one point. Well, it's not for sale anymore. I've got big block cars, I've got other convertibles, just more stuff. We just kind of scratched the surface. So we're gonna have to do a couple of more of these guys. And I hope that you guys may, these may not be for you, but you may know somebody who'd be interested in this stuff. We also sell some parts. If you need that and you see something that you're interested in, be sure to drop us a line. And if you're wondering about prices and all that kind of stuff, we got a lot more information on the website. And we also have some cool shirts and some swag if you guys are interested, and that helps support this channel. And oh yeah, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. You guys liking, following, and sharing is helping to drive us onward and upward. And we're covering some pretty good ground. Now guys, we're dangerously close to 100,000, and I never would imagine we'd had this many subscribers this quick. So I want to say thank you, to say the least. And y'all keep it between the ditches. I need to go find me some water.